Welcome back to normal baseball. Aaron Judge was accused of cheating. Domingo German actually cheated. Some teams are hot, some are not. Let's talk about it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And today we are talking about the baseball. First and foremost, I would like to address that, yes, it's been a week and a half since our last podcast episode. I would like to say we are both in school, in college, and it was finals time. So we did have to focus a little bit more on school the last couple of weeks, but we are back now. We are ready. We are here for you. And if you want to continue to stay with us and hear what we have to say the rest of the season, then you're in the right place. We appreciate it. So subscribe to stick with us and share.
Well said. Well said. Well said. With that being said, though, let's jump into it. Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk more baseball. There's plenty more to talk about since we were gone for a little while. Where do you want to start today, Alex?
I feel like we should start at the obvious. The big story of the week. Aaron Judge was accused of cheating by the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees and the Blue Jays played a 4-game set in Toronto. We'll talk a little bit more about the outcomes of the game throughout this. So, first game of the series. Aaron Judge hits a home run. His first at-bat, I believe it was. And, Yankees are kind of rolling. They were up 6-0 by the time the 8th inning came around. And especially in this division matchup, that's pretty important. In a 4-game set to take game one, it's a big thing. So they were up 6-0. And Aaron Judge comes to the dish for his second at-bat, or rather for his at-bat of the night. And fourth, whatever. It was the 8th inning. Aaron Judge comes back up to the plate and he hits another home run. So 2 home runs on the night for Aaron Judge in game 1 of this series. The Yankees wound up winning that game pretty comfortably. I believe it was 7-4 in the end. And then after the game, a lot was being talked about of Aaron Judge cheating. And, you hear that and you're like, Aaron Judge, this is the guy who just hit 62 home runs. Does he need to cheat? How was he cheating? What was going on? Well, the Blue Jays broadcast picked up a moment of, in his second at-bat, him glancing over to something to his, right side, obviously standing in the box like that. He's looking at the pitcher, but he started glancing over a few times. And
down the first base line.
In the direction of the first base line, for dugout, whatever. And, the Blue Jays broadcast was like, is he cheating? Are they stealing the signs? Or, what's going on here? Judge was asked about it after the game, and he literally, at first he didn't even know what they were talking about. So I think that, obviously if they were cheating, he wouldn't say it outright. But he did say that he was looking over at the Yankees dugout to see who was yelling at the umpire, because they were up 6-0, and at that point, why are you yelling at the umpire? If you're up 6-0, it's just not the right time, right place, because Boone got ejected from the game. So, Judge was just trying to play that leadership role and I guess see who was doing it. That was his argument, at least. I think it's a lot different. I don't think that's actually what was going on. But what I think was going on, I'll let you explain, Lewis. What I think was going on isn't actually cheating. So do you want to explain what was the most likely scenario that was going on in that moment?
So what everyone has kind of come to the consensus to, the agreement on, unless you are a diehard Blue Jays fan who genuinely thinks that one of the best hitters in the world right now needed to cheat. I think it's as simple, and everyone else is in agreement, that the pitcher, who admitted that he was tipping his pitches, had a very good tell in terms of he really showed off essentially when he was going to throw a slider. And Aaron Judge, who knew that there was a tell or a show to it, looked towards the first base coach to see if he picked up on it. And I assume that the first base coach picked up on it, which means that Aaron Judge then knew that, hey, if it's going to hang, I'm going to bang. And Aaron Judge proceeded to hit it over the batter's eye in center field. When you know a pitch is coming, I feel like for a guy like Judge, it's very easy to do something like that.
Oh, of course. You know, he hit 62 home runs last year without knowing what pitch was coming. So,
on like 59 of them.
Yeah, you know. And if you're knowing what pitch is coming, when you have a hitter like Aaron Judge and you know you're about to get a slider in the zone, obviously you're going to hit that ball. I think it was 462 feet. That's his job. That's what he gets paid to do. You know, he knows what he's doing at the plate. And I again, it's not cheating. If you're tipping your pitches as a pitcher, if the other team picks up on it, that's your fault. That's something you're doing wrong in your game that can't really be prevented if they notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing that a pitcher can do if he's tipping pitches to prevent anyone from abusing it. And we saw it last year with the Yankees and the Tigers, I believe, or the Yankees and the Cubs. It was one of those two teams at Yankee Stadium last year that had a very young pitcher who, when he would throw a changeup, his hands would be up here more towards his chin, whereas a fastball was more down towards his waist. And the Yankees abused it. They scored 7 runs or 8 runs off of him, young pitcher, which you don't like to see young guys getting lit up, but you got to learn how to make the adjustment. On the other hand, is it fair? Of course it's fair. Everyone's like, oh, but it's cheating. He knows what pitch is coming. But there's a difference between knowing a tell and knowing that the pitcher is tipping pitches as compared to what the Astros did all the way back in 2017 and 18, where they used electronic devices and means that were not within the boundaries of the baseball field to access what pitches were coming. So massive difference. I think what Judge did is okay. The problem is that he didn't just say that the first base coach was giving him signs. I think that really bad look for him not to just be like, yeah, guy was tipping his pitches, and the first base coach picked it up, so I wanted to see if he knew what pitch was coming.
Nah, that's not something you say.
I know that it's not something that you say, but
well, you just said that's what he should have said.
But
that's not what you should say. Because if you have a tell on a pitcher, you're not going to say that you have a tell on the pitcher. That's not how that works. Like, say you light up, like, some starter. Like, say Sandy Alcantara was tipping his pitches and you light him up for, like, 8 runs. Well, you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, we had a tell on him. He's tipping pitches. This is what he was like. Like, then he's going to fix it, and you're never going to be able to do it again. You know, you keep cards close to your chest on stuff like that. Like, you don't just say, we have a tip on this pitcher. I mean, if the pitcher says it, obviously it doesn't matter because that means he knows about it already and he's not, not...
Yeah,
he's fixing it. He's fixing it. He's fixing it. But yeah, no, I don't think as a hitter or as the opposing team to the pitcher that was tipping, I don't think you say anything. You just say, oh yeah, the bats were hot tonight. You never say you have a tip on a pitcher, in my opinion.
I think that he just, like, that's like the worst excuse of, oh, I wanted to see who was chirping, which everybody knows that in the game of baseball there are very few leaders like Aaron Judge. And we know, we've seen it as Yankee fans, as we live in New York, we see it all the time. Aaron Judge has a way with his leadership where, since he was a rookie, he wanted to be a leader. He wanted to help the clubhouse. And at first it was guys like CeCe Sabathia and Brett Gardner who were standing behind him saying, listen to this guy. And now he's on his own. And I think that's one of those things that if he did it when there were more veterans on the team, that would have been like, dude, focus on the at-bat. Shut up. Like, who cares?
Well, yeah. I think that was a bad excuse. You know?
Yeah, such a bad excuse that everyone knew was bullshit the second he said it.
Yeah, this guy's locked into his at-bat. He's not worrying about that in that exact moment, you know? I agree. But I think, you know, like I said, you don't say if the pitcher's tipping. You're not going to just say that and, you know, yeah, that's just not something you say. and you got to make some excuse up for it. And I guess at that point, it doesn't really matter what excuse he made because we all kind of knew what was going on anyway.
Yeah.
And that actually sparked 2 home runs in that game for Aaron Judge, and that sparked controversy for the rest of the series because Game 2 was, I'm going to be honest, one of the most bizarre games I've ever watched in my entire life. So, before the game, going into the second game of the series, the Blue Jays made it a very big point that the Yankees should keep their first and third base coaches inside the little boxes they have on the side of the field. The Blue Jays, in the first inning of the game, didn't even do that themselves. So why they would start to get mad at the Yankees for doing it makes no sense. Because in the top of the second of that game, the Blue Jays third base coach, I believe, yelled at the Yankees third base coach for being out of the box. But the third base coach for the Blue Jays was out of the box like the entire inning anyway. It for me, it was a horrible excuse. Like, you act like the Yankees have a camera in center field and they're going to be, picking up every single sign you're throwing down. That's not how it works. Your one pitcher who, it was Jay Jackson. He was kind of a journeyman through the league from what I've seen, and he just had gotten called up. He got optioned the day after. It's
hats off to him. Journeyman getting up and down, being able to fight through that, got to tip my cap to him.
Yeah, it's just, not every one of your pitchers is tipping. And if they are, that's your fault. Fix it. That's if the Yankees are able to pick up on it, that's your problem. I think that was a horrible excuse from the Blue Jays. It rubs the wrong way.
The issue right now with this series, this 4-game series that the Yankees and Blue Jays just played, Yankees took 3 out of 4, where they did it silently. They didn't have the players themselves did not have any moments of, I'm going to throw it in their face that we're doing better than them. I'm going to really show off. I'm going to be over the top and excessive. Whereas the Blue Jays, who only won 1 game, and I don't want to say squeaked it out, but didn't win it as convincingly as the Yankees won a couple of these games, really pretended as if it was their one World Series win. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. The Blue Jays over-celebrated the fact that the Yankees were coming to town, period. Everyone was excited for this matchup because right now, this matchup, let's be super honest, tallest midget. It is tallest midget. It is who can be the second best right now because the Rays are better than both of these teams. And they've shown that time and time again.
I mean,
it's not fair to baseball to have both teams be like, oh, this is the series to watch, this is the series to watch. Neither one of them have done anything so far. So they're fighting over second place, over being second best, which I don't think either one of these organizations want to be. On top of that, the Blue Jays, who have had 0 success in the past, 10 years almost, in terms of playoffs and in terms of what the Yankees want to do and in terms of what every team honestly wants to do, the fact that they constantly, we even saw it last year, where they play this 4-game set in Toronto, and that one win is what they cling on to, is going to hinder the Blue Jays moving forward, and you can book that down that I'm saying it, because I think that we're going to see the Blue Jays take a little bit of a skid after the Yankees just absolutely went in and really showed that they're still the New York Yankees, and they want to go back and win another AL East title.
Okay.
It's a interesting dynamic, and I think that one thing the Blue Jays should take away from this series, Blue Jays usually don't chirp that much. Blue Jays don't get in your face that much. Blue Jays are silent, and they do what needs to be done.
Yeah, but they're not that type of team.
But they should be.
But they're a young, exciting team. I feel like it is very fair to say, not in this sense, not in the sense of, you're accusing people of cheating back, which we didn't even talk about the actual person that cheated in this series, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But accusing like people of cheating, especially the MVP of last season, I don't think you should do it in that way. If they're hitting home runs, bat flip all you want, play as flashy as you want, make as much noise as you want, but it has to be for the right reasons. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it should be for the right reasons. But I think it's perfectly okay for them too. And I think considering they have the young team, that's why I feel like it's like a very reasonable thing for them to be playing loud. You know what I mean? I mean, Vladdy, Bo Bichette, is looking...
So
he looks like he can win an MVP. Like, he is just doing everything. George Springer, Alejandro Kirk. They have the guys that bring energy, and I feel like you got to do it for the right reasons,
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
They successfully got Aaron Judge to do somewhat of a bat flip, which is incredible. That is like the most vengeance Aaron Judge thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. By the way, he hit 4 home runs in this series. He hit 1 in the second. He hit 2 in the first game, 1 in the second game, and then 1 in the fourth game. The only game the Blue Jays won was the third game. They won 3-0 in 10 innings because of a Danny Jansen walk-off home run. This was a crazy game. 0-0 going into extras. And Chris Bassett and Garrett Cole
shoved.
Were just pitcher's duel. Bassett went 7 innings, 7 Ks. Cole went 6 innings, 6 Ks. It was just pitcher's duel. And the Blue Jays did come out on top. So like you said, their one win, they kind of did just squeak it out, 10th inning, walk-off homer. Not lucky swing, but one swing of the bat.
One beautiful swing. I have to admit, I watched all 4 games of the series just because I thought that this series was the series to watch in terms of the baseball world, which we could talk about all the series, but I think that this one was still the most exciting one to watch. And seeing just how close every at-bat felt just made me itch for October.
Fair.
Everything felt much more intense, much more meaningful, especially after the first game. The players, which I have to give my flowers to, what's his name? John Schneider. Because even after all the stuff that went on, the team still rallied behind him, and after that first game, rallied behind him, and it felt like it lit a fire under their asses. Which... it's very hard to find a manager in any sport that can lose a game while doing all this chirping, doing all this talking, and saying these things and accusing people of cheating, and still have their team and their players so invested and so dedicated to playing for him and playing with him and trying to go out there and win. It was genuinely very impressive. And I think that that's a great sign in terms of the management for the Toronto Blue Jays, because when stuff like that happens, in my opinion, it's almost like you're putting the manager and certain people that work with the manager behind this wall that they're not able to be removed or fired or let go because everybody wants to play for him. They're willing to literally go to battle for him.
Yeah, which is a good sign.
Very valuable asset.
Especially with what the Blue Jays have right now. They have a lot of young guys. Their young core of Vladdy and Bo Bichette, who they would want to lock up ideally long term. And, having that good management is a big part of that. If they're not having fun playing for the Blue Jays right now, it would be a lot harder to re-sign them. Or rather, extend them. Because that is what needs to be done. Because like I said, Bo Bichette's playing out of his mind. Bo Bichette is currently batting. He hit a home run in Game 4 of the series, and right now he's batting .328 with a 900 OPS. He's got 10 doubles on the year, 9 homers, 29 RBIs. It looks to me like Bo Bichette could be the next Blue Jay to win an MVP before Vladdy.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just what he's doing is incredible right now.
The Bo Bichette and Vladdy combination in this Blue Jays lineup, obviously with a scorching hot Matt Chapman, George Springer, who, although struggling right now, will eventually turn it around, I hope, because he's one of the best hitters in baseball, in my opinion, when he's fully healthy and fully on board and has his 900 OPS back. All those guys, Kevin Kiermaier, who's had a breakout, what's his name? Alejandro Kirk, who's looked very, very good once again. I think the engine behind it is obviously that Vladdy and Bo Bichette wagon. And if I am Bo Bichette and Vladdy, I am talking, or Vladdy, each or, I'm talking to the other one almost every day, trying to figure out how we can earn their pay. Because let's be super honest, Vladdy and Bo Bichette both deserve an amazing contract. A life-changing, a life-altering contract. They definitely both deserve it. However, the Blue Jays are not like the Mets. They're not like the Dodgers. They're not like the Yankees, where they don't have this unlimited supply of money. So they're going to probably want to take a more team-friendly deal. And I genuinely think with how good the management is, how good the staff is with the Blue Jays, how much they love the team, I think they're both willing to take pay cuts. In terms of an extension, whether they hit free agency first or not is unknown. But it would not surprise me if they both did offer the Blue Jays to take pay cuts, because they both genuinely look like they just love playing in Toronto. And I'm going to be honest, it's one of those things where I don't think I could ever see them play anywhere else. They're always going to be Blue Jays to me.
Well, only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yes.
It's up to the Blue Jays there. I did want to just touch upon, we've been talking about this Yanks-Jays series for a while. A lot happened. But I do want to just touch upon the last part where Domingo German, Yankee starter, actually did get thrown out of the game for sticky substances. And he was suspended for 10 games. So he's currently on a 10-game suspension whilst the Yankees are short on pitching. They have Luis Severino coming back on Sunday. So he's kind of taking that spot from German for now, just for the next couple starts, which wasn't the plan. The plan was to either send down Johnny Brito or Clark Schmidt or just one of those kind of guys. And now they don't really have that option until Domingo comes back. But yeah, Domingo was just 3 perfect innings against the Jays. He's coming out for the 4th inning, which this is the second time we've seen it with Domingo. 3rd time we've seen it this season. Because
same umpire crew.
Same umpire crew, or Phil Cuzzy was there, and he was coming out for the 4th inning, and they go to check him, which is not a normal thing. The umpires are supposed to check after the innings, not before, and they checked before the inning, and they threw him right out. And from what it seemed like, he probably did actually have some kind of sticky substance on his hand, because, Boone, after the game, they weren't making any excuses about sweat and rosin. Boone was like, Domingo should have known that, like, you shouldn't be doing that, especially in games like this against teams we need to beat. Just not a good thing. And so, yeah, Domingo, he was almost popped for it earlier in the season, but they played the sweat and rosin card, and now he actually did get popped for it. So that kind of sucks for Domingo. But yeah, that's all. I just really wanted to touch upon that. I really wanted to just, put it out there.
Yeah,
Domingo German did cheat in this series. So coming off the game, it was game 2 of the series. So going into that game, everyone's saying Judge is cheating, the Yankees are cheaters. For you to actually go out and cheat then is a horrible look for the Yankees. So I don't know what that means for the future of him on the team. But we'll see. I assume they're not going to do anything about it because the Yankees, tend to, as long as you're playing for us and playing good, you're chilling.
Yeah. Which, Domingo, his last 5 starts, I believe, have been very, very well. Oh my God, that's not English at all. His last 5 starts or so have been very good. And obviously, was he cheating or not? For all of them, we don't know. The Yankees might not know. We just know that he got thrown out for a foreign substance in his most recent start. If I had to assume, he'll be back. He'll be fine in terms of his status on the team. It's going to be like the Yankees are probably going to tell him to not, cheat. But will that stop him? Will that make the Yankees want to help him not cheat? I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic in baseball, and we've seen it time and time again with cheaters. Of sometimes it's a whole team doing it, sometimes it's one player. but because you're all wearing the same jersey, because you're all fighting for the same cause of winning a baseball game, people don't say anything, people don't do anything about it, which I don't know how to feel about, but we'll see what happens when he comes back.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's I want to get past this series. So that was the Yanks-Jays series. Yanks took 3 of 4. They are now have the same record, or rather, they're now tied with the Blue Jays for third place in the AL East. The Rays and the Orioles have just, the Rays obviously started the season off historically. They have slowed down a little bit. They've now lost 2 in a row. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but they're still 32-13. So you can struggle like this a little bit at this time because of the hot start. So it's all right. The Orioles are just 3.5 games back of the Rays, sneakily having an amazing season, 28-16. I believe they lost 2 of 3 to the Angels. So, have that, or take that as you will, rather. Actually, I could check if it was 3 of 4. Yeah, I believe it was 3 of 4. I think that was a 4-game set, unfortunately for them.
They split.
They did split. They won game 3. Didn't even see that. All right, well, they split with the Angels, which take that as you will, even then, because the Angels, have not been great this season so far.
Well, one of the losses was to Ohtani, so...
Well, yeah, but Ohtani gave up like 5 runs, so... Ohtani didn't have a good start, but their pitching wasn't good, so it is what it is. The Orioles, dangerous, man. The AL East is dangerous. Currently, still, if you go from AL East to AL Central, like below each other, how you normally would see standings, it's still in order. Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox, Twins, etc. It's in order. The entire AL East is better than the AL Central.
Yeah.
Which is just wild. This division is just crazy. And what's even crazier to me is that there's a world where the entire season, every team could be, 5 or 6 games back. Like, not sitting at 5 or 6 games back, but, like, the furthest team back is only, like, 5 games back.
Oh, yeah.
They play less in-division games, which is going to be a big part of it, too. They play every team, but they play less in-division games. And obviously, this being the best division, you're going to rack up a little more losses when you're playing, in-division teams and all that. So, we'll see. I mean, it's good. It's a fun division, and I'm excited to see how it does kind of turn out. Obviously, the Red Sox are getting a little colder recently, so we'll see if, they start to slide and it becomes, like a 4-team type of thing. But if the Red Sox can hang in there, put up some fights, it's going to be interesting.
Well, the Red Sox have been very consistent, just not consistently a championship-level team as of right now. But they look... It looks like Hein Bloom and the I almost called them the Chicago Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox have put together a team that genuinely is competent and able to win ball games, which I think for the first half of the offseason we were like, what the hell are they doing? They're letting Sander Bogaerts walk, and they're really not signing anyone. They're getting rid of guys like Michael Wacha, who have been solid for them. Like, nothing made sense. But then when you took the step back, you realize, like, these guys are hitters. They re-signed Devers. They brought in Masataka Yoshida, and they're calling up a couple of guys. They brought in Justin Turner. Interesting sort of case here. Interesting sort of interesting team. There you go.
I feel
there's no other way to say it. Interesting team.
You're right. They did bring in like a couple good pieces. It's a very interesting team. You got Yoshida, who I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting him to go to Boston of all places, and they made good changes. And I feel like it was even said a lot before the season started. They're not a horrible team, but being in the AL East, you're not going to fare well, because if you're in the AL East, you have to be a championship contender to even compete.
Yeah.
And they have a decent team, but it doesn't cut it in the AL East, So, I don't know. And they just got James Paxton back. Chris Sale had a really, really good start against the, I forgot who it was against, but he had a really, really good start, his last start. And they got James Paxton back, who struck out, I think, 9 batters in 5 innings. He had 9 batters in 5 innings. He only gave up 2 earned runs.
Last start was against the Phillies.
And it was a good start, no?
I can check.
I think it was he had 12 strikeouts in one of his most recent starts. So hopefully Chris Sale can
six innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction for Chris Sale, considering how he's been this season. Chris Sale has been definitely worrisome because he hasn't been pitching well. But if he can get back in his groove, you got James Paxton, Brian Bello has been actually pretty good. He has the stuff rather. It's more of just converting.
That wasn't even his most recent start.
Did he have 12 Ks in his most recent start?
He did not. His most recent start, May 13th, against the Cardinals, he went 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, and one of those 3 hits was a solo home run.
So, exactly. So, he's been having good starts recently. So if he can continue to do that, that's going to be huge for the Red Sox. I'm interested to see if he'll actually keep it up this time. I hope he does. Yeah, I hope he does. You might as well.
Yeah, Chris Sale is one of those guys who genuinely, he needs to have this bounce back season after the last couple of years, not having him fully be himself type of thing, He needs it. He needs it. There's no other way to say it. And let's hope that he does return to that form that the Red Sox traded for all the way back in 2017.
Would be big.
Kenley
Jansen got his 400th career save. Clap it up for Kenley. One of seven pitchers all time to have 400 saves, I believe. If we're looking ahead, I believe Craig Kimbrell is at 399 or 398, so we'll probably see him do it this season too. But yeah, good job, Kenley Jansen. It's been a hell of a ride for him, and glad to see him still doing it. And he's been dominant this year too. He did have a couple bad outings, but overall he's been pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Love Kenley, love the journey, and proud to say that he now has 400 saves. Good for him.
So you mentioned that Chris Sale's last start was against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are so back. I'm declaring them back. Me, personally, they're back. Because the Cardinals are 8-2 in their last 10. They just beat the Dodgers last night. They scored, I believe, 16 runs against the Dodgers and beat them very, very convincingly. I think the St. Louis Cardinals are back. What do you think?
I would love to say yes. However, the issue I think I have right now with the Cardinals, and mind you, they are my World Series pick this season. I think their issue is still the pitching. They're built the same way that we've seen other teams be built before, like how the Mets were once built, how the Brewers were once built, how, hell, the Angels are built right now in the sense of our pitching might not be the best, but we want to outscore everybody. And that's how they picked up their most recent win, which was on the 18th against the Dodgers, putting up a 7-homer performance to score 16 runs. But their pitching staff still allowed 8. It's barring a complete offensive explosion from the Cardinals, I think they lose that game. Which begs the question of what are they going to do about their pitching? Because something needs to give. And if the offense is going to come alive and look back, and Nolan Arenado, who has been the best hitter in baseball for the past week.
About time.
Yeah, which about time. And that lineup is finally starting to just produce and move the chains. What's going to happen if they fall short again? What's going to happen if that offense runs into a Garrett Cole, runs into, any of the top pitchers in baseball? What happens then? Because if that offense gets shut down, we know that their pitching staff is not reliable.
Their pitching staff has shown signs of life.
Yes, but
very good signs of life.
But not good signs of life.
I think very good signs of life. They played the Brewers this past week. They won 2 of 3. And in one of the games, Jack Flaherty, who's been struggling a lot recently, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and just 2 walks. Flaherty had a really, really good start. They shut them out one of the games too. They won 3-0. So, like you said, their offense didn't explode. They scored 3 runs, but it was actually, believe it or not, Matthew Liberatore, who shut down the Brewers, and their bullpen shut it down. I don't know. I think they're showing signs of life, and it's all good signs of life. In the last, 4 games, in the last 4 games, they've scored 16 or more runs twice. They scored 16 and 18. I'm feeling good about the Cardinals right now. I think they're so back. They swept the Red Sox last week. They won 2 of 3 in Chicago last week. They won 2 of 3 at home against Milwaukee, and they take game 1 against the Doyers, who the Dodgers have been really good recently. It seems like, they were starting getting their form of let's just run away with the division now so no one can catch us. So, I don't know. I'm feeling good about the Cardinals right now. Their pitching, yes, isn't the best still, but, Jack Flaherty just had a really good start. He's going to be pitching again on Sunday, it seems to be. You have Wainwright back, who is still a good starter, let's be honest. They just picked up Liberatore, they just called up Liberatore, and he had a good first start. Jordan Montgomery has been their best starter this year. There is a world where the Cardinals just go on an absolute run. And I've been saying it throughout the year, kind of, just more of once this team wins like 10 games in a row, they could very well just win 20 in a row, Like when they get hot, I think they're going to get very, very hot.
Do what they did a couple of years ago. They won. What did they win? Like 21 in a row.
Something like that. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 2021 season, I believe. But I would love to say yes, but I still think that they need to prove it to me more as the in-house Cardinals guy. I just need to see a little bit more proof.
In-house? How are you in-house?
You took them to win the World Series?
But that's not in-house. You're not in the...
In normal baseball's house.
I guess. Yes. I'm a Cardinals guy. I don't see you wearing a jersey.
Did you pick them to win the World Series?
No, I didn't. But they're only 6 games back right now. They're only 6 games back, and
they're 7 games under 500, and they're 6 games back.
Yes, but last week they were, I believe they had 13 wins last week. They're now 19. Yeah. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Pittsburgh has been horrible recently. They've been losing. They've been looking like the Pirates. The Cubs have lost 5 in a row. The Reds aren't real contenders in that division. The Cardinals have a very good shot for, dare I say, by the time of next week hitting. Not 3 days from now, not Sunday, but, next Friday.
1 week from today.
1 week from today. I think they could be, 2 games out. Dare I say. So
time will tell.
We'll see what happens there. I think they're so back. Me personally, I think they're back. Nolan Arenado, he homered in 5 straight games last week, and he's just been on an absolute tear recently. I probably could pull up his last 7 games numbers because it's been wild. And that was another thing that we were saying. Nolan Arenado had to spark in order for this team to spark. And that's exactly what he's done. It's good. It's good news for the Cardinals. In his last 5 games, Nolan Arenado has... I can't find it right now. Go on. What do we want to go to next? Cardinals are back, in my opinion. Lewis, you're not quite convinced on them. They play this weekend the Dodgers, so we'll see if, they won game 1 already. Let's see what they can do in games 2, 3, and 4. And let's see how that series ends up. And we'll see where you stand on the Cardinals
after that
that series. So
yeah, so only only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. The whole 9 yards when it comes to them. One team that I want to throw the flag on, want to throw the concern towel on, sort of put a little stamp on them right now. The New York Mets.
Obvious, yeah.
They are the most expensive team in baseball when it comes to payroll, and they are just not performing up to their standards. If you listened to our last episode, you heard Alex and I get into it, the fact that they needed another power bat. We went back and forth for a while, and in the past week, they have called up a couple of their prospects, Mark Vanitos, who came up, hit a home run for them. Another one of their prospects, Francisco Alvarez, former number 1 prospect in all baseball, hit a few home runs for them, and he's been good. He's looked okay. I'm still very much out on Francisco Alvarez being.
But you've been
the person, the player that everyone says that he can be, but I do think that this new generation of Mets players, really right now, it's Alvarez, Beatty, and Vanitos, are going to really light a spark under this team, and they need it badly. They really need it badly. Right now, they're 22-23. They are how many games out?
6 games back.
6 games back.
Which they're lucky that's only 6 games back.
Yeah, but we know the NL East. We know the Atlanta Braves. And we know the Miami Marlins, the two teams ahead of the Mets. The Mets need to pull something together, and they need to figure it out quick because there's no stopping that Braves wagon once it starts going downhill. And right now, even though Acuna is looking like a top 5 player in baseball again, even though Matt Olson and Sean Murphy are really putting the bat on the ball and really producing runs, and their pitching staff looks great, they're not on the downhill portion yet. It's not easy for them yet. If you're the Mets, you gotta run now. You gotta catch up to them now. You gotta figure out a way to just put together wins and hope that Atlanta loses. And right now, yes, they're able to figure out how to win a couple of games here and there. They had one of the most exciting games I've watched in a while with the Mets and Rays.
That was a crazy game.
Great game. Alvarez down to literally the last strike of the game, down by 3, hits a game-tying 3-run home run. They go into the 10th inning. Pete Alonso then hits a walk-off 3-run home run, which, great for my Pete Alonso campaign that's going on this season. He's looked great so far this season. But you cannot celebrate that win like you're in first place. I want the Mets in first place. I want every team in first place. It's hard for me to not sound like a Mets fan when I say this, but I want the Mets in first place because they genuinely have the team to do it, and they're not putting it together. Which,
listen.
Bad luck.
You picked them to win the division this year, and this is exactly why I did not. Yep. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yep.
Because the Mets will Met, and right now they are Metting to the max. Yes, they won 2 of 3 from the Rays, which is a really good sign, But one of those was a, wild comeback. You guys were down by a lot, which, says something about your team. And then the next day you won 3-2. It's just, they would be a lot more games back. They would be in a worse position if the Braves didn't get swept by the Blue Jays last week, which the Braves got swept by the Blue Jays last week, by the way. They just won 2 of 3 against the Rangers, the Braves did, but they did get swept by the Blue Jays last week, and I think the Mets are benefiting from that because, like I said, they're only 6 games back, whereas even if they split, it would have been 8 games back, So, I don't know, the Mets. That's all. I don't really have much to say about the Mets. They've just been bad. That's really the only way to put it. They win Verlander starts, and that's about it.
Did they?
I believe they won the last Verlander start. No, they did.
Him off the field.
No, not in his home debut. I mean, like the one before that, last week. I don't know. It's just they're just so weird. They're so weird. They lost. How many did they lose against the Nationals? Oh my God.
Too many if you're the Mets.
They lost 3 of 4 to the Nationals, or 2 of 3 to the Nats.
No, Alex, they split.
They did not split.
Friday,
lost.
Saturday, Sunday,
lost.
Monday.
No, they won one game. Oh, they won 3-2. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
So they split with the Nationals, but
I'm reading it wrong. You that read wrong. I that read wrong.
Did one of us not say that for the Mets to succeed this season, they needed to not let one of those two teams, either the Marlins or the Nationals, pester them?
Maybe.
I believe one of us said that, and so far,
hey,
the Nationals have pestered them.
The boys down south are having a good time right now.
Yes, they are.
They are the Miami Marlins are 23-21. They are chilling in second place with their negative 52 run differential. But they are chilling in second place. Jazz Chisholm just did get injured, so he'll be out for a little while. But
get well soon, Jazz.
Jorge Soler has been going off. Jorge Soler has been winning them games.
Hey, World Series MVP for a reason.
He's coming into his stride. The batting average is a little low, but that's how Jorge Soler works. He's been hitting home runs. He's been winning them games. What?
He's not a robot. That's how Jorge Soler works.
It is.
He will swing bat. It will not hit the ball all the time, but when it does hit the ball, it will go far.
I mean, yeah. That's exactly what it is. When he hits it, it's going far. Jorge Soler's been chilling. Luis Arias has his 378 batting average. He's on the moon. Garrett Cooper is the greatest player in baseball history. That's simply put. They're being that pesky team. That before the season we said they're going to be pesky and they are going to beat teams that maybe they shouldn't be beating because their pitching staff is obviously very good and their lineup can get it done depending on the day.
Yeah.
So it's fun. They're a fun team and I'm having fun with the Marlins right now. Always ride with the boys down south. Let's go Marlins.
Yeah, let's go Marlins.
What else we got? The NL East, Phillies, not having fun either. They've lost 4 in a row at this point, and they are now 7 games back. They're 20-23. Trey Turner really hasn't been playing as he should. Bryce Harper has been playing, but he just came back. Phillies not looking where they want to be.
Yeah.
But last season we were saying the same thing, and they made it to the World Series. So
I mean, not to, and for any Philly fan and maybe listening, not to, rain on your parade or get you upset about anything. I do just want to say that Alex does have a Trey Turner Miami Marlins jersey.
I do. Trade him.
If Trey is not looking that good, come the trade deadline. maybe send him to the boys down south. Show some love to your fellow NL East team. Send him to the Finns.
Stop. Yeah. One first year of the 11-year deal. He's not playing great. Get him out.
Get him out of here. You have the jersey already. It's going to happen at some point.
Eventually, there will be someone named Turner with the last name Turner on the Marlins at some point in time. I can confidently say that at some point in history. It might not be Trey. It might not be Justin. It'll be someone.
Yes, and let it be known that as far as the Phillies are concerned, I think they're fine. They're okay. It's okay for them to be a little bit lackluster right now. It's okay for them not to be putting together these amazing games time and time again. Because the Phillies, as we said last year, and I think that it still reigns today, they're a streaky team. They're the streakiest team in baseball, and they just need to hit their stride one time. Maybe they'll eventually get lucky in terms of their scheduling moving forward, where they play a few bad teams at home, where they tend to be a lot better. Not statistically, it feels like they always play better at home type of team. I think that if they get a lucky streak of a couple bad teams coming into Philadelphia, we could be talking about this team going on another run where maybe they do enter the conversation for winning the NL East again. We'll find out.
We'll see. Only time will tell. Dude, the Padres are so sad. The Padres are very, very sad. They are currently 20 and 24, sitting 7.5 games back of first place. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They just lost a series to the Royals, I believe. They are not looking good.
Sellout crowd in all 3 of the games, though.
Yeah, good for their attendance and paying Manny Machado, but it's very sad. Manny Machado, by the way, hitting .231 this season. Manny Machado has been a shell of himself. Their pitching hasn't been like horrible. I mean, recently it hasn't been good, but it's been like kind of middle of the road. Joe Musgrove has not been good to start off. Their bullpen's been, their bullpen hasn't been the worst part of their team, which is kind of crazy. Their lineup has not been getting it done.
As their starting rotation gets a little bit older and older, their youngest starter right now, Joe Musgrove, is now 30 years old. I really don't count Ryan Weathers just because he does go up and down. No one really knows what's going on with him. But he's their youngest, along with Blake Snell, who are both 30 years old. And Yu Darvish, at 36 years old, who just got a contract extension. They all look somewhat okay, but they're just missing their spots and not putting together full outings. Joe Musgrove will go out there and have great 3 innings, but they need 6 innings out of him, and he won't have a good next 3 innings. Michael Wacha, same deal. Not as of recently, but to start out the season, it was very much 2 good innings, 2 bad innings type of thing. Blake Snell has looked wishing something else would happen there, and Darvish
has been good.
Figure out a way to limit the walks, I think, is the best way to say it, which he does not have the most walks on the team, and that belongs to Blake Snell, which should be obvious. Blake Snell, very big breaking ball guy, and if teams can pick up on that, they won't swing. Makes sense. But Darvish, I think this season especially, he needs to be that strikeout guy that we've seen him be before, and right now he's not being that strikeout guy.
Okay. I think a lot of their problems also derive from the lineup. When you really look at this lineup, Soto has not been playing good. He got hot 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Since then, he's cooled down a little bit. Manny Machado, like I said, has just been a shell of himself this year. He's not really doing much. Tatis came back, and Tatis is doing pretty good. I'd like to see the power surge a little bit more because he's got 5 home runs right now. He's getting on base at a decent clip, 313, with a 770 something OPS. Xander Bogaerts has been really good, but I feel like for this team to be good, all 4 of those guys need to be playing very good. Because when you think about it, and even before the season, their bottom half of the lineup is not great. It's not great at all, especially looking now. You have Austin Nola catching, who's batting 151. Trent Grisham has been horrible. He's batting 191. Matt Carpenter hasn't been Yankee Matt Carpenter. So when the bottom half of the lineup's not producing, your top 4 guys can't also be not producing. And I think that's a big part of the Padres' problem, too. In terms of offense, they're 30th in batting average. 30th in batting average. They're 27th in runs scored. So I think their lineup's been a big part of the issue, and dare I say the biggest issue, because I feel like the top 4, those 4 guys, Tatis, Machado, Soto, and Bogaerts, they all have to be like, all-star MVP versions of themselves in order for this lineup to succeed. Because the bottom half is so not good, bad.
It's not, and when you say that, I know what you mean in the sense of these guys need to be MVP performers, but you're talking about guys who time and time again, season after season, have had MVP-like seasons. So it's not like we're asking them to hit this second level. We're asking them to just hit a level that they've been at before and have sat at before.
Well, MVP level seasons is their norm.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
The fact that they're not putting that together is not helping the Padres, not helping dethrone the Dodgers. It's not helping anybody. I think that this is just proof that, money can't buy a championship more, but that's a whole nother argument type of deal.
A whole nother argument.
I do think, though, we're going to see something give whether it's the front office literally standing in the clubhouse and screaming at these fucking players until something gives, or it's gotta be they need a big leadership voice in the clubhouse, which you can say it is Manny Machado, and yes, Manny Machado is an excellent leader, but who the hell's listening to the guy who's batting .231 and is not contributing as much as other guys in this lineup?
I disagree. When your star player is struggling, you don't just stop listening to him. Like, when your team leader is struggling, you don't just be like, oh, well, you're hitting .231. Why do I have to listen to you? That's not really how that works.
Yes.
Like, at all. That's not how
I'm saying, like, it's deflating for everybody on the team. You know what I'm saying? I think I said that wrong the first time, which I am sorry.
When your leader is struggling, it's felt in the clubhouse deflated. More. Yeah. It's less of, you don't lose the respect for the guy.
You know what they need? They need to play another series in Mexico.
They do. The Mexico series was fun for them.
This was.
They got swept by the Dodgers, though, last weekend, so that's what really matters, the current.
Yeah.
Swept by the Dodgers, lose 2 of 3 to the Royals. The Royals.
One more time.
The Royals, the Kansas City Royals, lose
Bad
2
luck.
of 3.
Bad luck.
In San Diego. In San Diego, they lose 2 of 3 to the Royals.
By the way, for anyone wondering, Alex is not stuttering.
No, I'm not stuttering. I'm purposely doing. I'm emphasizing.
Yeah, emphasizing.
In San Diego, the Royals going into that series had 12 wins on the season, and you lose 2 of 3 to them at your home stadium with, like you said, sold out crowds. Sold out crowds. Ridiculous. Padres, what are you doing?
Hey, there's another team in a Western division.
I'm not sure I understand.
Neither are the Padres.
The Padres don't understand.
Listen, there's another team in the West that should see the fact, hey, the crowds are getting sold out even when we lose, as long as we're putting a competent team out there. But go fuck yourself, whatever that team may be.
What?
I'm talking about the.
Oh, the Athletics. Yeah, they're. Oh, okay, right. We're not talking about them until they sweep someone. Okay, gotcha.
And I'll take note. Screw you guys. As for the rest of the NL West, Dodgers, as we mentioned, on top once again.
The Dodgers are, before you get into the next team, the Dodgers are, lately it's been seeming like they're about to get into that rhythm of, we're going to get like 15 games ahead and just kind of cruise the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But go on.
The second team, the Diamondbacks, the Snakes, they have just looked amazing. They have figured out a way to... the rebuild in baseball is a very hard thing to do. That's what I'm going to preface this with. Rebuilding in baseball is super hard because it's unlike basketball, it's unlike football, it's unlike hockey, where in the draft you can immediately have guys who are changing your major league roster, your professional roster, who are changing the course of your organization. Between the trades that they've pulled and the fact that these guys who they've had on their roster for quite some time in the minor leagues have now hit, and I genuinely think are some of the best players in their division, is amazing, and it's paying off now. We're seeing guys come through who have just looked amazing, and I could not be happier to say that the Snakes are here.
The Snakes are here. It's a good time in Arizona right now.
Yeah.
It's a very good time in Arizona. This team, I very thoroughly enjoy watching this team. Because not only do you look at their lineup, and their lineup has been fucking phenomenal. Corbin Carroll has been a spark plug. He's got 10 steals on the year, 6 homers. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has been playing out of his mind. Christian Walker has been hitting the ball really well recently, and he always does. He's going to have 30 home runs this season. It was kind of a given. And then you have like guys at the bottom of the lineup who are just producing. Dominic Fletcher, I believe it was their series against, who did they play? Who did they play last week? Last week. Sorry. But last week he had like 11 RBIs in the series. Oh yeah, against the Giants. He had like 11 RBIs in the series. Like, who would have thought that was happening? Dominic Fletcher. Gabriel Moreno has been really good as well. He's batting .321 to start the season. Just everyone is just hitting.
Moreno.
Yeah, Gabriel Moreno.
I thought it was Moreno.
No, you say Moreno, but it's not.
I know. I'm teasing.
They're third in average as a team. They're sixth in OPS. They're eighth in runs scored. It's incredible. And it's even more incredible considering their pitching hasn't even been that good. You know what I mean? Zach Gallen obviously is the major outlier of the staff. Merrill Kelly has also sneakily been really good this season. But other than that, their pitching staff has not been great, including their bullpen. Their bullpen hasn't been great either. But their lineup has been able to pick up for it because they've been so red hot to start the season.
Yeah, and
they're fun. They're a fun team to watch too. Let me tell you. You got Evan Longoria coming. You got 37-year-old Evan Longoria coming off the bench. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Corbin Carroll, who I have genuinely just enjoyed watching so much, continues to show why he is one of the number one prospects in baseball. Why he was the number one prospect in baseball. The team. Okay. Get ready to clip this, write this down. I'll get it tattooed on me if it comes true. The Diamondbacks will be a 1 seed in the next 5 years.
Yeah, no. I mean, I could see it. It's not an outrageous take.
The Diamondbacks have the championship DNA like forming right now as we speak. You know, they are putting it all together slowly. It's like oh crap! What's that one movie? The movie.
No idea. Bad enough.
No. The Avengers. It's like the Avengers. You know when like they all like there's always it's a hero movie. So you know when like they all are standing together and you hear their theme song playing. It's like picture watching that but at 0.5 speed, like extremely slow. You're watching it right now in the desert.
I don't know if we're quite at that point yet.
Oh, we are.
I think that
we're there.
We're
there.
I think their pitching needs to get better.
That's why I said it's going slow. They're
yeah, but I feel like they're still a little ways away. Like they're
yeah, but they can speed it up.
They're a little ways away on the pitching.
They can speed it up. Garrett Cole has an opt out after this year. Max Scherzer has an opt out after this year.
Shut up. No.
There's a world. There is a world where the Diamondbacks can go from okay, yeah, they look okay, whatever, to maybe a top 5 rotation in baseball. There's a world where it happens this offseason. Go Snakes, go Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll, please sign my chest.
Shine your chest. Okay. What I did want to look for is, because like we said, they need pitchers. Their pitching has been not good. Free agents this year include Shohei Ohtani. I would help pay to see Shohei Ohtani in a Diamondbacks uniform. Who else? Who else is it? Martin Perez is going to be a free agent. I'm just looking at full free agents, not Josh Hader. Yes, that picture. Josh Hader is going to be a free agent. Who else we got? Here? Giolito, Sonny Gray, Blake Snell, Luis Severino. They have a lot of good. Aaron Nola. They're going to have a lot of good starting pitching options this offseason. As of right now, you know, who will get re-signed. I don't know, but I think the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks have been playing amazing. They're one of my favorite teams to watch right now. Their lineup has been just going off constantly, and I think if their pitching can just, you know, put together some nice strings of games, they'll continue to stay in that second place spot. Do I think they'll wind up in first by the end of the season? No. But I think that they could definitely make it into the wild card and be a Phillies type team where if they get hot, they're going to stay hot and they're going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think they're like the Phillies. This is a good thing. I don't even think they're like last year's Phillies in the sense of last year's Phillies were so streaky. I think this team is just consistent. It's more of just, is the pitching staff going to get better as time goes on? Because I think the lineup, obviously, you're not going to have guys batting .320 the entire year, but I think overall they're going to be up there in average and OPS, as a team. So I'm excited to see what the Diamondbacks continue to do. Looking forward just to this weekend, they're playing the Pirates. And the Pirates have struggled a lot. So this is time for the Diamondbacks to, rack up a couple more wins. See what they can do against the Dodgers, who the Dodgers are playing the Cardinals, like we were talked about. And if the Cardinals can stay hot and beat the Dodgers a couple times, we could end this weekend with the Diamondbacks being in first place in the NL West, which would be wild.
I'm in.
But, Diamondbacks. Let's go Snakes.
Let's go Snakes. Let's go Snakes.
Do you have anything else, Lewis? I have one more. We have to do our weekly ding-dongs.
We do.
And then I just have one more person that I want to talk about.
Go ahead and jump into your person because I am all set.
Bryce Miller of the Seattle Mariners. I just really want to highlight him quickly because he has been phenomenal. He's had 3 starts in MLB, 3 career starts. He pitches tonight, which is Friday night. He pitches against the Braves tonight in Atlanta. Through his first 3 starts, he's given up just 1 earned run. He's thrown 19 innings with 18 strikeouts and just 7 hits allowed. He's been phenomenal. So I just want to point him out and say, if you see that Bryce Miller is pitching, give it a watch.
Yep. Because
he's fun. I personally will not be watching him pitch tonight because the game is on Apple TV, and I am not paying for that. So yeah.
I will be watching it because I pay for it.
MLB, you want to grow your audience? Let me watch Bryce Miller for free. That's all I'm saying. I've been saying it for the last 4 years.
He got drafted in 2021.
But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight Bryce Miller because he's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, let's go Mariners.
Let's go Mariners, by the way. Yeah,
let's go Jared Kelenic.
The Mariners have been they're 21-22 right now. I'd love to see them getting on a hot streak. Is all I'm going to say. Julio Rodriguez,
faltered.
Get him on a hot streak, and the Mariners will be a lot better.
Yeah, well,
the Astros
is on the burner.
We didn't even talk about the Astros. The Astros swept the Cubs, and they're looking like they're back.
Yeah,
they're 2 games back of first place. I think this is also the point where they started down here. They usually start up here. They started down here, and they've just slowly and now we're just gonna see that fucking giant exponential growth. And they're just going to go off.
The Astros are usually a team that sort of jabs, that they're very consistently, they'll hit you for power. This Astros run that we're about to see, and I'm going to call it right now, is going to be a fucking uppercut from hell.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to put the whole league on notice again, and we'll see where they end up after their next 2 weeks of games, because I think they're going to get back to being the best team in baseball.
They've won 4 in a row, and now they go play against the Athletics. So that's a good sign for them. We could see them coming out of this weekend having won 7 straight, being in first place in this. What?
Every year, there is a team that does get swept by the Athletics.
And it's always the Astros. I'm going to confidently tell you that's not going to happen.
I agree.
But they've won 4 in a row. They go to play the Athletics. They're playing the Athletics at home, then the Brewers away, and then the Athletics away. So we could see a lot of Astros wins, get the ball rolling, and just, I don't know if they'll look back from there, to be quite honest with you.
We'll find out.
We will find out. And yeah, you want to do the weekly ding-dongs and then get out of here?
Let's do it.
All right, the weekly ding-dongs. So, Lewis, would you like to tell us... This has been a very prolonged weekly ding-dongs. It's been about 2 weekly ding-dongs, but it's same players.
Same players. So my players for last week's weekly ding-dongs were Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians and Dansby Swanson of the Chicago Cubs. Jose Ramirez hit 1 home run on the 8th of May.
First day.
Yeah, the first day. Dansby hit 1 on the 2nd day, the 9th of May. That one was a 3-run home run, but that brings my total from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Still looking for that double-digit mark.
Did you have 6 or 7?
I had 6 going into this week, I believe.
No, you had 7.
I had 7? Okay, so I'm at 9. Even better.
So you're at 9. Okay. Mine was Harrison Bader, who homered once. I believe it was on the 8th. So he didn't do much after that. And Christian Walker, who I will say I did benefit from the fact that it went prolonged. He had 3 home runs, and he's had 2 in his last 3 games. So that has helped. I am now at 19. So I'm 10 ahead of you. But one hot week. If you pick Nolan, if one of the guys you picked had a week like Nolan Arenado, you'd be right back in it. So we'll see. That's all it takes.
Hey, don't count me out just yet.
I'm not counting you out. I'm saying
my
I just counted you in. I said that's all it takes is one really hot week from one of your guys.
And then you said then I'm back in, which means that right now I'm out. All right.
Well,
anyways.
I mean, you're 10
back
right now, so.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that you're wrong.
Then you're back in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Do you want to pick first for this week?
I'll let you go first.
All right, I'll go first. So I'm gonna go with, for my NL pick, Nolan Arenado. He's been going off. He had 5 home runs last week. I think the Cardinals are back. Why not? That's all I'm gonna say. Why not? You know?
Okay. So I do back-to-back.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to take my AL first. A guy who we have not seen heat up just yet, does not have a home run on the season just yet, as a matter of fact. Give me Benny Biceps. Andrew Benintendi of the Chicago White Sox. I think that we're about to see him catch a little bit of lightning in a bottle. Give me a little bit of a hot streak. Come on, Benny. Absolutely love the guy. Hoping that he can turn it around and, knock a couple over the fence for me. In my National League, blown away that neither one of us have picked this man yet in our weekly ding-dongs. Rowdy Tellez of the Milwaukee Brewers. The most brewer there possibly could be.
Oh, yeah.
I think that we're going to see him go on a tear, which is why I'm taking him.
Interesting picks.
Thank you.
I can't say I expected that. So you picked Andrew Benintendi.
Benny Biceps.
And Rowdy Tellez.
And Brewer. Rowdy Tellez.
So I have Nolan Arenado first. And second, so I'll say this. This is not my pick. Originally, I wanted to pick Gleyber Torres because the Yankees are playing in Great American Ballpark. Mm-hmm. But I picked Harrison Bader last week. So I'm going to switch it up. I am also going to pick, for my AL pick, a guy on the White Sox. I'm picking Luis Robert. Mm-hmm. Luis Robert, however you want to say it. They're playing the Royals this weekend, and then I don't even know who they play next week, but they're playing the Royals next weekend. That's all I really need to know. That all I needed to see is that they're facing Zach Greinke tonight, and I'm very confident he will hit a home run off Zach Greinke tonight. They play the Royals and then the Guardians. So we'll see. I think Luis Robert is gonna rack up some homers for me.
All right.
Well, do you have anything else to add, Lewis?
Shout out Luis Arias.
Shout out Luis Arias.
Shout out Ronald Acuna Jr.
They're Ronald Acuna.
Murdering baseballs left and right.
He has a chance of a 40-40, 50-50 season kind of thing.
Yep. Shout out Wander Franco.
Shout out USG Ruiz.
Yep, shout out USG Ruiz.
He's going off.
And most importantly, shout out to Michael. Happy 21st birthday.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, commenting. If you liked, make sure to like, follow us on everything, subscribe. We're back. We're here. And let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball.
We will see you guys in the next one. A peace.